I have never had Arowana die that way, but here's Alf for some reason standing vertically, not breathing. One week later, Alf died. Just 1 week ago we were trying to see if he had babies in his mouth. And who knows, maybe he did. I don't know if he was that old, if he was able to breed with Sieha, our female, and fertilize the babies. Or if he was able to fertilize the babies, maybe he held them in his mouth, or maybe that took the last of his strength. But he died peacefully, and I think he died from natural causes. He's never been sick, not that we could see. Always fed well. Always was the most dominant one for the last 8 years. Alpha male of all the Arowana we've ever had. As you can see, his last measurement is about 41, 42 inches. So my eyeballing him at 3.5 feet is pretty close. About 10 inches tall. I'm not gonna weigh him, too much bother, but it feels like about 30 pounds. And as I said, he was 8 years old. We got him in maybe even 9, pushing 9. We got him in 2013, 2012, 2013, at about 3 inches from John Critsolis in Fort Myers of freshwater tropicals. We got 5 of them, and this is the last survivor. He's had about, I want to say, 7 or 8 clutches of babies. What in the world is in his mouth? Yeah, I don't know, this is just probably some something in his mouth. I don't know what this is. I think it's somebody's poop that he just inhaled as he was dying. This is the bony tongue, which is why they're called bony tongues. It's pretty bony, all right. Very sharp, serrated teeth on his mouth, upper and lower jaw. Yeah, he's had about 6 or 7 batches of babies with our former female kinky, but the last was about 3 or 4 years ago. Kinky was killed after that in the red-tailed catfish tank, which is why we transferred all Arowana from that 4,500 gallon into the other 4,500 gallon. So that's the story of Alf. Really enjoyed him. He's been the biggest Arowana we ever grew. People say the natural lifespan is about from 10 to 20 years. So this is not, this is close to the low threshold of 10 years. We've had them about 8 or 9, but it is what it is. I might have been overfeeding them as was suggested by our peers from other videos, because last year we lost a couple of large males at 3 feet and 1 smaller female at 2.5 feet, and guys suggested that it could have been overfeeding based on their puffed up tummy and everything, but his tummy looks fine. I mean, he doesn't look bloated. So I don't think the cause of death is the overfeeding. As you can see, this is the anus, and these are the extensions on the pelvic fins. See how far they are from the anus? Sometimes they can extend almost touching the anus, but they never go farther than the anus, which is how I distinguish males and females. All the females we ever had, the extensions were longer, up to here, and the male extensions never reached the anus point. Well, I don't know what else to tell you about them. It's a sad day, of course. Gills look good, nice red. I'm not gonna cut him up and look inside. It's too gruesome and laborsome, and I just don't want to do it. I'm gonna pen it as natural passing for now. Thank you. Size of his scale. Almost 3 inches. Well, now that Alpha is gone, it's probably a good time to try Beaker, our newest and smallest female in the big tank. She's been living for several months in this 1800 gallon. And while the remaining Arowana in the 4500 gallon are confused with Alf's departure, perhaps they will be easier on Beaker, because Arowana do have their pecking order and they enforce it, and each Arowana should know their place in the hierarchy. So we're gonna try Beaker in the 4500 gallon now. Beaker came from Ron, from Bradenton, or rather, I think Tampa. You ready, sweetie? Okay, Ron, here's your baby. If there's a problem, I'll take her out, don't worry. But chances are she should be okay in there. She's got enough size to handle. Size and health to handle this. So now we'll have the remaining male is the flap, a rescue from Sean Becker from Fort Myers. There he is, coming up. And we have 3 females. Here's Beaker, Ilana coming up from Dylan from Bonita Springs, and Siaha in the back. Beaker is probably about 1.5 years. Ilana is probably about 2 years, and Siaha is much older, about 9 years. Siaha is a rescue from the other coast of Florida, Fort Lauderdale, from the CF family. These tanks, the 1800 and both 4500 gallon, are filtered by the same filter, 15,000 gallon sump filter, so the water is the same. No stress at all in a different water. So the only stress will be other Arowana welcoming Beaker or not. Usually it's not too bad, but once in a while we had problems. Here's the we had problems where Arowana would hurt each other enough that we have to take a newcomer out. So far so good, pretty calm. Nobody even came up to say hi to Beaker and to show her her place, her new place. It's been several hours and everything is fine. Beaker is fine, nobody's touching her. So I think it's gonna be alright. I forgot to mention that flap is a lot significantly smaller than Alf, only about 3 feet probably long, and flap is also not that young. He's about 7 or 8 years old. His nickname Flap was because when we got him he had a huge gill curl on one side. One gill plate was, the flap was really elongated and curled. It was flapping in the water, hence we called them flap. But in a big tank and in a good water and good feeding, it corrected itself in a couple of years, and now you can't even tell. Both his gills look pretty good, just the way they should. So that's our only male that's left. Okay, that's our story. Update on Silva Arowana. So we only have 4 left, 1 male and 3 females.